our young people, and of course this Saturday is no different. I think the month of November is always very special, very exciting. It has many extra opportunities. Last week we started off sharing I think a host of competitions and activities which are currently open. And just as a reminder to all of our listeners, there is the Earth Prize competition, and I shared with you last week in relation to that. It's a teenagers competition for students between the ages of 13 and 19, and of course there is the potential for a $100 prize. So make sure that you seek more information on that. If you haven't heard about it, the deadline is November 30th. We also have the Sweet Enough competition going on currently, and this one is a dance competition, and it actually the goal of the Sweet Enough campaign, there it is a campaign, and the competition is to raise awareness as it relates to increasing our water intake. And so it's saying that we're sweet enough. We don't have to focus on or spend so much time drinking all the sugar, extremely sugar sweetened beverages, the sodas and all of those things which do not necessarily contribute positively to our health. And so it's a dance competition, a school dance competition, open, but it's open to all of the stakeholders within the school structure. So you're looking at students, you're looking at teachers, you're looking at parents, and of course alumni. So that's anybody and everybody who's somehow connected to a school. There are hundreds of prizes, including laptops, tablets, projectors, vouchers, and so many other prizes. And the competition closes on the 21st of November, with the vote going between the 22nd and 29th of November. And if you need any additional information, go to youaresweetenough.com/dance, and you'll get all of the information there, including the rules, examples of the dance videos, and of course how you should submit your entry and get to vote. So ensure that you spend some time looking at that one, listeners, parents. I know we have some children who are TikTok kings and queens, and so I know they love that. They spend all day recording themselves dancing. Let's try to do it for a positive cause and to potentially win some prizes. And then last week I promised, and I said last week that we have some special guests, so we will have some special guests, and they're here. But I promised at the end of the show last week that I would share the guidelines for the POPs poetry competition, poetry and spoken word competition, which is also currently open. And so we have, and POPs, for those who are wondering, persistent organic pollutants. So we have so many environmentally based activities happening as well. And so the POPs competition is open to both primary and secondary school students. There are 2 stages to the competition. All students from primary and secondary schools are eligible to participate. Primary school students will compete against other primary school students, and secondary school students will only compete against secondary school students. During the first stage, you submit your poem to be assessed and ranked, and then the top 5 poems for primary and secondary will be selected, and they will go on to stage 2, where we will have the spoken word competition happening. The parameters: poems must be at least 4 verses or stanzas for primary students, and for secondary 6 verses or stanzas. Poems must be a minimum of 4 lines and a maximum of 6 lines per verse or stanza. Poems can contain no less than 8 words per line, but a line must remain on one line and not carry on to the second one. For this particular competition, to ensure timely submission and receipt of entries, poems must be sent in 2 formats: the soft copy and the hard copy. The hard copy should be left at your school's front office with your principal by the deadline, by 12 p.m. on the deadline of November 29th, and the hard copy is to be left, and the soft copy should be emailed. It should be in a Microsoft Word document or an editable Word document, and the email address for those who are documenting that, nmsenconsulting@gmail.com, nmsenconsulting@gmail.com, and those should also be submitted by 12 p.m. on the 29th of November, and late submissions will not be accepted. The spoken word presentations must not exceed 5 minutes, as a penalty of 1 point per judge for every 15 seconds over will be deducted, up to a maximum of 5 points per judge. Ranking will be determined based on aggregate scores. In the event that a spoken word finalist celebrates a Sabbath on a Saturday, which is the day of the spoken word competition, the presentations can be submitted via video. However, there are parameters for that, so said productions will be done, and a representative from the team will be present to ensure that you don't have editing or you don't have persons repeating, because remember, those who are doing it live in real time will not have the opportunity to repeat or to have that editing done. So a representative from the competition will be present to ensure that that does not happen. And the poem's content, poems should speak to the definition, sources, spread, harmful effects, and solutions to POPs. The assessment, 5 judges for stage 1. Stage 1 will be a blind judging process. Judges will not know who wrote the poem, your name or your school, and the judges will produce or determine the top 5 poems for secondary, top 5 poems for primary. And then stage 2 will also have 5 judges. The 5 judges will include 2 judges from stage 1. Okay, so they'll have 2 judges carrying over and then 3 new judges. And the assessment criteria, we're looking at formatting. The poem must be typed in 12-point Times Roman font. Poems must be submitted with the completed registration form attached. The poem must have a title placed at the top, underlined in bold font. Sentences must be single-spaced, and verses must be separated by a double space. And structure, poems have between, and I think we spoke to this already, 4 verses for primary and 6 for secondary. Each verse can be 4 to 6 lines long, and the poems must demonstrate a clear, effective rhyming scheme. The number of words in each line must be between 8 to 10. And creativity, poem's title must demonstrate creativity, and each of these, of course, is a rubric, so you get the number of points as you look at the format which is shared. Poems verses must demonstrate creativity, and creativity equals originality and innovation, the use of words, phrases, ideas, literary devices, etc. You're looking at rhythm and rhyme. Looking at content, I think I spoke to some of the content already. Poems must speak to the definition, main source, uses, causes, harmful effects, and ways to address POPs. The acronym POPs must be used at least once in each verse. The words persistent, organic, pollutants must be defined or described throughout the poem. The words persistent, organic, and pollutants must be broken up from the acronym and used separately in sentences in different parts of the verse. And the words persistent, organic, and pollutants do not have to be mentioned in each verse. And the poem must speak to the definition, causes, harmful effects, and ways to address POPs. Poems must have a clear theme, content, or story which is supported by the verses. And in the production process, poems must be written by students, and they can be assisted by parents, guardians, and teachers. Submissions will be penalized if it is felt that the poem was written by an adult or expert and simply given to the student for submission. And for a tiebreaker, there's a criteria also for that process in case there is a tie. Okay, and so these are the guidelines as promised from last week as it relates to the POPs competition. Prizes: primary school, first prize $475, second prize $375, and third prize $200. Secondary students, First prize $675, second prize $425, third prize $275, and the consolation prize of $75 will be given to each participant in the spoken word competition. And there are other prizes such as tablets, headphones, flash drives, and other awesome gifts. So we encourage our students to participate as we try our best to raise an awareness in relation to POPs, the persistent organic pollutants. Okay, so that's a lot of information, but I promise and I hope that you would follow up with your principals, your school's principals, so that you can get the additional information, or if you need further clarity. And you can also feel free to reach out to us at the Department of Education, and we will definitely share with you. Okay, listeners, we are going to take a very short break. When we get back, we have some exciting guests and who will share some exciting information. We'll be right back.
City Saint kids, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now it passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's you on the go. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab the games, let's gather around, and adventure is always waiting. The storytelling means for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the go. Let's start the show.
Let's go. Good morning, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Department of Education, and this morning, here, as I said, we had some very important guests lined up since last week, and so I know all of you have been waiting for the entire week to meet and interact with and hear from our guests. And if you weren't, I was. And so I can't hand over to our guests and have them introduce themselves without saying it is a beautiful day on Nevis, and here on Youth on the Go, we don't just bring the sunshine, we bring the entire sun. If you can even identify those words, you will know who our guest is, or one of our guests. And so I will allow our guests to introduce themselves.
Good morning. My name is Janet Elizabeth, and of course I coined that phrase many moons ago, but I'm happy that it's still going, because here at Youth on the Go, we don't just bring the sunshine, we bring the entire sun. So I'm here representing the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, and I'm joined by one of my colleagues.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Isabel Byron. I think you're familiar with me. Often around the time of the coastal cleanup, or November, which is Arbor Month, and that is one of the things we're focusing on today. So it's a great pleasure to be here again. Thank you for having me on the show, Ms. Claxton.
Of course, it's always a pleasure to have the NHCS representatives from the NHCS here. Our students, and I was having a conversation with a parent yesterday, and she said, I learned so much about trees during the Arbor Month quiz last year. And I told her I did too. Right. So it wasn't just our listeners. Our listeners last year really raved about the Arbor Month quiz and the activities that happened. And I would meet people in the street, and they would say, I'm loving the questions about trees. And so I'm hoping that this year we can learn more, and add to our knowledge base and our bank. And so we have our quiz coming up a little bit later, but before that, we'll talk a bit about Arbor Month. Last week, one of the questions, and kind of stumped our listeners last week, one of the questions was to define arbor, right? And which is a secluded area shaded by trees or shrubs, especially in a garden. And so, of course, we had a winner, but it was one that stumped persons at the beginning. And so, tell us a bit about Arbor Month, Miss Byron, and of course, then we'll continue the conversation.
Yes, Arbor Month was developed the idea, well, it's a worldwide concept. Some people have Arbor Day, some have Arbor Month, and it was created, I think, in the last 2 centuries ago, a long time ago, by a environmentalist in the United States whose name was, I think, Sterling Morton. He sounds like somebody from Nevis, but he was actually, I think, the governor of the state of Nebraska, and he came from another state, Michigan or somewhere, where there were lots of forests. And when he went to Nebraska, which is apparently a dry state with large patches of just grassland, he set out planting more trees because he felt that the state needed more trees for all the environmental benefits of trees. And he created Arbor Day, I think, in April. I think, as I said, it was back in the 1800s. I can't quite remember when, close to the 1900s. And this spread, the concept spread, and now it's around the world. We have chosen November, and this was really instituted, I don't know exactly how many years ago, but by Mrs. Joan Robinson, one of our former museum curators and co-directors, and she loved the environment and really focused a lot on environmental issues for the NHCS. So we chose November because, as I've said before, November is a good month for planting trees in Nevis. It's usually following the hurricane season. You hardly ever have a hurricane, touch wood, in November. And you also get still getting rain. It's a cooler time, so it's a good time for planting trees if you are able to do so. And Nevis needs trees. The world needs trees, as we know, and particularly at this time, it's a very significant month because we just had this very important conference that I'm sure many of you young people out there have heard about. That is just, I think it just concluded yesterday or today, I'm not sure, but it was a 2-week conference called COP26, all about climate change and the dangers the world is facing from rising temperatures and all the devastation that has been occurring and is going to sadly occur in greater and greater intensity, with greater and greater intensity as the world continues, as life continues, if we do not do something about reducing these rising temperatures. And one of the ways, apart from the one that we hear about all the time, which is reducing the use of fossil fuels, another way which has been proposed, because apparently trees absorb at least 1/3 of carbon emissions on the planet. And so more and more people are focusing on planting more trees, on protecting forests, on reducing what we call deforestation, but also planting trees. And I think one of the agreements that was actually reached at, because it's been very hard to reach agreements at this conference because people find it very hard to commit to reducing fossil fuels, that's like petrol, and reducing our electricity use and all sorts of things that make life very easy for us. But an easier one, although not too easy, was the commitment to planting more trees around the world and trying to stop cutting down virgin forests in places like Brazil, the Congo, Russia, China, and so on, Indonesia. And so Arbor Month is significant because the importance of trees is constantly highlighted, and there's been a big initiative since the early 2000s, I think, or the middle of the 2000s anyway, maybe about 2009. The importance of trees to plant, increasing, the number got larger and larger. Now they're saying we need 1 trillion trees, which is huge. I had to look up in the dictionary on Google how much is a trillion, and I think it's 1,000 billion. So these numbers are mind-boggling. But what it means is we can all do our part. Of course, the countries that really need to do their part are those with the huge forests that make the most impact on the environment. But even in Nevis, planting trees has all sorts of benefits. I won't say them all because I'm sure some of these may be coming up in your quiz at some point. But Arbor Month is to highlight trees, their beauty, their value, they're just absolutely a necessity for life on Earth. And this year our quiz is focusing on trees around the world. Last year we focused on trees in Nevis, indigenous and imported trees. Now we're looking at trees more widely, and I think students last week did very well. I know you do some quick research sometimes to get the answer, but I think you all did very well, and I encourage more students to participate, and thank you all, you and your parents and whoever else is assisting you in participating in the quiz. Maybe I should let our new NHCS director speak a little bit more about some of the other activities we're planning.
Certainly. So, of course, we're in COVID time, and that has limited some of our activities. Last year we had an exciting scavenger hunt, treasure hunt, where you were searching for trees and you all gathered in groups in town and you went looking. But this year we can't do something like that because of the protocols which we are limited by. But of course, Arbor Month is so important that we had to get activities done to highlight the importance of trees nevertheless. So of course, we know that we have our weekly quiz on Youth on the Go. If you're listening in, you have not missed the quizzes yet. It's still to come. So for the month of November, we have weekly quiz about different trees and issues related to Arbor Month. So be sure to tune in, listen, have your phone ready to Google if you need to, and call in and win great prizes. We also have our treasure hunt with a twist this year. As I said, we can't have mass gatherings, so the idea is to register your children. Any primary school child between grade 3 and 6, from grade 3 to 6, can register to participate in this event. What you do is you call into the society and register, then we will add your number to a WhatsApp group chat, and we will provide the clues in that way. So we'll disseminate the clues to all the participants in the WhatsApp group, and it is your job to now go out in your community and find the tree based on the clue. Once you find the tree, you snap a picture with the tree and you submit. Right? So we'll have several clues, and the first 3 participants to submit all the correct answers, they of course would be our top prize winners. And this is open to grade 3 to 6, all the primary schools in Nevis. So be sure to tell your parents. You can go and run and tell them now to go and make sure to look on the NHCS Facebook page for more details on how to sign you up. In case you parents are listening, the number to call is 661-0408. 661-0408 to register your children to participate in this activity. The deadline for registration is November 17th. November 17th, deadline to register, and the competition will run from November 19th through the 26th. Hope we got all that information in there for our treasure hunt. Now, of course, we have something for the primary school kids. Yeah.
Okay, so thank you so much for that, Janelle. That's for the primary school students.
Yes.
And so when we come back from break, if the secondary school students are still asleep, wake them up, because it's going to be their turn. We know sometimes they sleep late. Wake them up. It's going to be their turn, and we're going to start the quiz after the break as well. So make sure all of your students are locked in to hear about the competition and, of course, participate in the quiz. We'll be right back.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. An hour passes quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. Good morning, good morning, good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Von Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Von Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Department of Education, and I have some very special they can't be guests. So some very special friends with us this morning, and of course our friends at the NHCS. And we have, I didn't say at the introductory time, but I want to take this opportunity to formally congratulate you, Miss Nisbet.
Thank you.
On your new appointment as director of the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. And without a shadow of a doubt, we know that you're going to do an exceptional job, working, of course, with your team to bring about the objectives and goals of the NHCS. And of course their volunteer teams are also very important, and so with everyone working together I look forward to greater things, because NHCS has always been doing great things, and I appreciate that from the NHCS. So we have the primary school competition rules and guidelines being announced a few minutes ago. We're going to continue on with the secondary, but before we do that, I would like to ask one quiz question so that at least we can have students starting to call in. So we're going to start with the primary school competition. With these next two questions are for students who are in primary school, and the question one: name a tree which is found in the Bible. Name a tree which is found in the Bible. 469-1616. 469-1700. Name a tree which is found in the Bible. All right, so on to the secondary. Oh, no, I have to hold up. We have a caller. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today? Ooh, lost that caller. Okay, 469-1616. 469-1700. Tell us the name of a tree which can be found in the Bible. Okay, so go ahead and let's start talking about the secondary school competition, and then we'll break once we get someone with the answer. Okay, let's go. Good morning.
Hello, good morning. The name of the tree in the Bible is called the fig tree.
You have a fig tree in the Bible. That's correct. That's very correct. And so, of course, the Bible mentions many different trees. What's your name?
Andrew Elliott.
Andrew Elliott. And Andrew, you are the winner of a prize, compliments the NHCS, the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. And you will have to go to or your parent would have to go to the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society and collect your prize. So you won't get your prize coming to your school, okay, Andrew? It has to be collected from the NHCS. And Andrew, what grade are you in now? Grade 5?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, Andrew, grade 5, Joycelyn Library Primary. And so a parent or guardian will have to go to the NHCS and you will get your prize from there, okay? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so do you want me to read the second question or?
Go ahead.
Okay.
I love these quizzes.
This is my favorite part every week. Okay, now question 2 for primary school students. Name any well-known book or book series with the word tree or the name of a tree in the title. So name any well-known book or book series with the word tree or the name of a tree in the title. Okay, 469. Oh, wow. Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Okay, do you know the name of a book or book series that has the name tree in it?
Yes.
Okay, can you give us that name?
The language tree.
The language tree is the textbook. The language tree is the textbook. What's your name?
My name is Janaya Jones.
Janaya Jones. Janaya, the language tree is the book you use at school, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful. Congratulations. So you have to collect your prize at the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. Okay, Janaya?
Okay.
Have a great week.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was
Right, and that was really funny because I never thought of the language tree. We had books such as the Magic Tree House, the Faraway Tree, the Hummingbird Tree, the Frangipani Tree. I always get tongue twisted on that word. Tree, and so we had so many, and I didn't think about the
You
language
spoke of a
tree.
nice book you read last year. What was that
Yes,
one?
the one that I read last year was the Giving Tree.
The Giving
The Giving Tree. Yes, I read that last year. That was also an amazing book, The Giving Tree. And that one is by Shel Silverstein. All right, and so maybe I might read it if we ever have any time before the ABBA month is done,
That would be
for those who didn't hear it last year. Okay, so we have our primary school students covered. Let's go on to the secondary guidelines for the competition, and then we'll open for the secondary quiz.
All right. So we talked about the treasure hunt for the primary school children, and of course we would never ignore our lovely supporters in secondary school. So we have something for you as well. What we have for you is a tree planting video essay competition. Right? So we know how much you like to use those smartphones and TikToks and all those wonderful video editing tools. So what we want you to do is to plant a tree and record the process of doing that. So you can record yourself looking for the perfect spot to dig the hole. You record when you grab the tree or seedling and put it in the ground. You cover it up, you're watering it. Whatever you do in the process, you can just record that and edit it into a lovely video and make sure it's 1 minute and 30 seconds or less, and you post it on Facebook. So the entry requirements for this is to be in secondary school from ages 11 to 17. So that's most of our secondary school students covered right there. And there's a limit of 1 entry per student. So I know it's exciting and you may want to do 5 trees. Please plant 5 trees, but only submit 1 video for the competition. Also, what you have to do after you create the video is post it to Facebook and tag the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. So you post to Facebook and make sure to tag us at Nevis Historical and Conservation Society. Also, we want you to hashtag NHCS Arbor Month 2021. Now that would make sure that we find your video easily and we can judge it and share it with everyone that we know, and you can win great prizes and surprises. There will also be a winning prize for the person who receives the most likes. So we are going to have judges for the video competition, but there's a special prize for the person with the most likes on their videos. So don't forget to share it with all your friends, tag all your friends, make sure that they like your videos once you post them. So just a recap in case you just crawled out of bed and you want to know what we're talking about. We're having a tree planting video essay competition for secondary school students ages 11 to 17. 1 entry per student, 1 minute and 30 seconds. You just upload your video to Facebook, tag the Nevis Historical and Conservation Society, and hashtag Nevis NHCS Arbor Month 2021. The deadline for submissions for that is November 19th, 2021. So, time to get up and go find that spot.
All right, sounds so much nice, so much fun. And you're correct. Our secondary school students spend a considerable amount of time creating videos and TikToking and various dances. They have mastered the ability to do that and to do it well. So that's something that I think all secondary students can easily do. It's not something that's difficult. And if they don't have a Facebook page, they can allow their parents to upload on their behalf. Because I know some parents might not allow Facebook page them to have a Facebook page. All right. So secondary school students, because we're talking about you, we're going to start on your quiz for this week. And so parents, I'm hoping that they're up. And we want to commend Andrew Elliott, of grade 5 student at the Joycelyn Library Primary School, and Janiyah Jones, grade 1 student at the Joycelyn Library Primary School, for calling in and for sharing this morning. So for the secondary school students, we're going to ask you to complete these sayings. Complete these sayings. Number 1, great blank from little acorns grow? Great blank from little acorns grow. 469-1616, 469-1700. Is there a secondary school student out there who's up and alert or even slightly groggy and can tell us great blank from little acorns grow? 469-1616, 469-1700. We have a caller.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, can you complete the statement, the saying, great blank from little acorns grow, and can you give us in a complete sentence, please?
The answer is great oaks grow from little acorns.
Okay, great oaks from little acorns grow. What is your name?
Jovanna David.
Jovanna, we can count on you to be up. Good job. Good job, okay, and you Form 2? Okay,
Yes.
wonderful. Which Form 2 are you in? Form 2?
Pioneers.
Pioneers. Okay, Form 2 Pioneers at Charlestown Secondary School. Thank you so much for calling in, and congratulations, you are correct. Oh, you're very welcome. Okay, listeners, we are going to take a short break, and when we come back, those other secondary school students should be up. We're giving you 30 seconds to get them out of bed, if they are there, or get them to the radio for the second question for our secondary school portion of the quiz. We'll be right back.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. With storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Start the show. Let's go. Good morning to all of our radio listeners, our viewers via Vaughn Radio's Facebook page and YouTube channel, and welcome to another edition of Youth on the Go here on Vaughn Radio. I am Zahnela Claxton from the Department of Education, and we're here with you, and we're having an exciting time this morning. Well, I am, because I always love to have my friends from the NHCS here. They always bring such exciting news and opportunities, and so this Saturday is, of course, no different either. When it comes to the NHCS, they are here with exciting news and opportunities. We've heard this morning about the primary school treasure hunt, virtual treasure hunt. We've heard this morning about the secondary school video competition.
Yes.
TikTok lovers out there, and all of the other social media apps that you use. That one's for you. And of course, bring your friends along, get them involved. And then, of course, our next step, because NHCS, it just never stops, it never ends. They have more and more and more to offer. And so we have another activity coming up, which we will share just in a few minutes. But we also have been simultaneously running the NHCS ABBA Month quiz competition, call-in quiz. And so we've heard from Andrew Elliott. He won from the primary category, as well as Janaya Jones. And for secondary school students, we already had one winner, Jovanna David, and we're just about to get our second winner for the secondary school competition. And the question is, complete this saying. You can't see the blank for the trees. You can't see the blank for the trees. 469-1616, 469-1700. Complete this saying. You can't see the blank for the trees. And parents who just pulled them out of bed, you might have to give them help and find the answer, because, as I said, they might be groggy. But complete the sentence, the saying, you can't see the blank for the trees. While we're waiting for an answer to that question, and I think it's relatively easy because we have an instant search engine and we don't have to run down to the library and pull out the encyclopedia, which or some books, which we would have had to do. They can easily find it, so I'm hoping that they're up and alert. But while we're waiting for a caller, to complete the saying, you can't see the blank for the trees, I'm going to turn over to you, Janelle, and you can share with us the other opportunity which is available through the during this month.
Right. So, at the NHCS, we are multifaceted, which means we do a lot of different things all at once. So, while it is Arbor Month, we are still focusing on the environment in other areas. And so, we have our International Coastal Cleanup scheduled for this month. It was originally scheduled for last month, but due to COVID and sargassum on the beach, we had to postpone, but nevertheless, we are here and ready to go. So the cleanup is scheduled for Saturday, 27th of November. That is the last Saturday in November. So what we ask that you do is you gather your team, approximately 10 people, sign up with the NHCS. We have a list of beaches that you can select from that you want to work on. Just sign up with us, register your crew, and we'll provide you with the bags, the gloves, and everything you need in order to help make Nevis more beautiful and contribute to protecting the environment and our oceans. If you want to register, you can email us at info@nevisheritage.org.
Awesome, and so we're going to continue in a second, but we have a secondary school student who's up, and we're just happy for that.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing today?
I'm fine.
Are you a secondary school student? Wonderful. Okay, so please complete the saying, you can't see the blank for the trees.
You can't see the forest for the trees.
You can't see the forest for the trees. What's your name?
Tizari Stevenson.
Tizari Stevenson. Okay, and you're in Form 1, Tizari?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Ginger.
Yes, Form 1.
Gingerland.
Which Form 1 are you in?
Farm.
Form 1.
Determination.
Determination. Thank you. All right, Form 1 determination at Gingerland Secondary. And Tizari, you just have to go on down to the NHCS and present yourself or a parent or guardian and collect your prize. Okay?
Thanks.
Okay, you're very welcome. Have a great weekend.
You too.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we're complete. We have secondary school students who are up. Our lives are, it is well.
What's nice, we had two boys and two girls. So
yes, and so and
and
those things are small things which make a big difference.
Yeah.
Parents, we encourage you to encourage your students to get involved, to listen. You can learn so much through these experiences. Yes, you have your formal education, structured education, but the informal activities, the informal education contributes significantly to their total development. And so get them involved, get them up, get them going, get them planting trees, get them doing their videos. They're going to TikTok anyway, so make it worth something.
Yes.
Get them to do the treasure hunt. It's good. It's a good interaction for parents and children, and get them together with their friends so that they can do the coastal cleanup. You can form a team within a class. Get your friends together and do that as well. So there's so many opportunities available, parents, and let's not ever forget, as I said, the importance of these activities towards the holistic or total development of our students. So you were just about to, or you were giving the ways in which they can sign up, so we can continue with that as well.
Yes, I'm just going to repeat that email address for you. You can email info@nevisheritage.org, or you can simply call us at the office at 469-5786 or 661-0408. So 469-5786 or 661-0408. And just form a team, any team, as Zahnela just said. It could be a class, it could be a club, a church group. Your family can form their own team and register. We have a simple Google form for you to fill. You just put in your information, the name of your team, where you want to go, and we'll handle the rest. After you finish cleaning up, we'll also have some snack boxes for you at the NHCS where you just pass and collect and go. We know normally, traditionally, we had our big picnic, but we're still trying to get COVID under control, but we still want to show our appreciation to you. So be sure to sign up for Saturday, 27th of November for our coastal cleanup.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you so much. And of course, we know, and you're not here for this purpose, but I brought it up earlier, and I think it's important for our parents to also know that volunteerism is important as well.
Yes,
and so NHCS has several opportunities for students to volunteer. If there are any students out there who are interested in becoming part of your volunteer pool, your general listing, what should they do? As I said, I would want to be part of something great like this, and so perhaps there are children who might want to, or students, parents who might want to get their children signed up. What would they do if they want to volunteer through the NHCS or be listed?
Well, first of all, they could become members of the NHCS. Janelle, I can't quite remember how much it is for children.
I do believe it's like 5 ECU
very cheap.
per year.
Yes. And there's the option for whole families to become members, and there's a reduction as a family member. For an adult, it's $60 per year, but for children, I think it really is about $5 per year. And we need to be doing more to encourage our young people. And we also, when you come for your prize or when you come to register for something and all that, we could encourage that as well. But we'd love to have volunteers, and we'd love to have more young people as members. And I think with our youthful director, that should encourage some of our children who know her already. Many of them know her from school or from her work in the community. And we also are excited, we couldn't have her today with us, but we do have Miss Jovanna Richards as one of our new members. She's on the Biodiversity Committee. She is a volunteer ambassador for the OECS, I think, in environmental matters. And all of those young people who won the Environmental Youth Awards, you know, Nikesha's one, isn't she?
Yes.
And she has done work with the NHCS. She's a very faithful team leader for the coastal cleanup. She participated last year in the treasure hunt and lots of things. She's done a lot of work at her school in that regard in terms of environmentalism. And we also have the young man, is it Dylan? Yeah, he loves the NHCS. He's always there with, you know, he's friends with some of the staff members and so on. So those are young people who are doing exactly what we want. They're there to encourage other young people to be part of it. And we're very glad that we have this opportunity now to have this younger membership or even volunteer. You don't have to join. Some people don't want to join. They feel, oh, that's putting me in a box, and you know. But a number of people offer, for instance, there's 2 young people. When I say young, maybe not just out of school, but still what I'd call young people. When we had the Earth Day cleanup in April, they came along and they told me, let us know when more of this happens, because we like these sorts of things. They may not want to commit to membership, but they can volunteer because it's our island, it's for all of us. And, you know, and also it can help, some of these activities help with your SBAs, you know. They can help with your biology projects, they can help with your history projects, of course. So there's lots of advantages apart from giving something back to your country.
And while Isabel is speaking about how they can be advantageous to yourself, just remember, while volunteering is fulfilling in and of itself, there's also benefits to it for when you're getting older and you're applying for different jobs, etc., or you're applying to schools. It's always nice to show that you've been involved in the community, that you've been a part of this project, so that you know how to work in a team and execute in that sense. Also, of course, just being involved in these activities gives you opportunities to meet new people, make new friends, even travel abroad sometimes. So just get involved in any way you can and be sure to volunteer.
All right, and membership, what does a child who signs up or registers and pays that $5 commitment fee, a membership fee, what is the expectation for that person, just in case anyone is listening and they're wondering?
You, as a child, what you would mainly be to us is the next generation, and you will help to be that link between us, who I'm getting ancient now myself. You'll be that link between us and your peers. So if we're having an NHCS project such as these treasure hunt or video editing competition, you would be able to talk to your peers, your classmates on that level, and encourage them to participate. You're our voice in the classroom. When we have activities such as the cleanup, we involve you so that you get that experience to volunteer and that type of leadership role.
Awesome. So thank you so much, of course, for sharing that information. And I encourage, as I said, all students, all parents with their home, they're in bed or on the devices. And, you know, everybody knows how I feel about the constant use of devices because there's so much out there. And we have these devices. They're the ones. They're the things that have us boxed in sometimes, Miss Byron. They have us boxed in. It's not any particular activity, but there's so much out there that's available, including the NHCS. The preservation of our history, the preservation of our culture is important, and knowledge of it, just an awareness of what happened within our history and what are the connections. These are things that our children need to know, and sometimes parents, we know you can't sit down and talk to them about everything, but these interactions and these activities can help them to become aware of what happened in the past and how those things link to the present and how they can make an impact in the future. So please consider. I learned something new today, that there is a member that you can become a member. I didn't know that.
I should have been pushing that before.
Yes, I didn't know that. So I'm happy to hear that, and we're going to talk off air a bit about how we can get some children and some students more involved in that. But we are out of time, and so listeners, thank you so much for tuning in. My dear friends from the NHCS, thank you so much for coming, and we look forward to interacting next week. We have our ECCB Children's Connection from 9:30 to 10, and of course we'll have our co-host for that, ECCB Children's Connection, Ajane. She'll be here with us next week, and so we look forward to seeing you and interacting with you next week. And until then, make sure you do all of these competitions, you participate in all of these competitions, and we'll see you next week. Woo woo.
With all the power from the tower, this is the powerhouse of the